What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to week 3 of the Pick'em League. If you have not joined the Pick'em League, it is very simple to do. Go down in the description, hit the first link where it says join. The password is MTP. That is it. That's all you need to do. And then you go in and you make your picks. It's done on ESPN. So if you have an ESPN fantasy account, it links right up to that. And you can check in and make your picks every single week. This week, the best performing person was Alpha Tyler. He went in an amazing 15-1. He only had one game wrong, and that was the Steeler game. So shout out to him. He killed it. And he's doing great so far. He's actually tied with KSN for first. They have matching records. Actually, Tyler has one more win, but as far as points go, they have matching points. So they are tied for first. Your boy, me, Dragon, we are in third, which is moving up from fourth place last week. So we're moving in the right direction. But this is some stiff competition. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit intimidated. I ain't worried, but I'm a little bit intimidated. I'm not going to lie. So if you've enjoyed this series so far, make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe, and let's jump over to make our picks. Sorry to interrupt this video. Well, I'm really just interrupting myself speaking, but I would love for you guys to go and check out an album for me. So as you saw this week, one of the two people that are leading is KSN and Alpha Tyler. Well, KSN has an album that is out. It is called Love and Hatred. It's on his channel, so go to KSN-MTP and find the Love and Hatred album and make sure you listen to it. Let him know what is your favorite song and put down in the description of that video hashtag Fume Squad or hashtag MTP. It would be greatly appreciated. Thank you guys. Back to what we were doing. All right, getting into week 3 picks. Here you can see the list. If you need to check out that, let's go and make our picks. Let's hop into it. Quick recap of week 2. We did another good job of organizing our confidence and making sure that we were tapping in on those big points. That's a big reason why we're in 3. Our record is actually not that great compared to everybody else that's been picking in this, because I like to take some swings from time to time. I want to get the upset points. But as you can see, our least confidence, Jaguar Bengals. I actually thought the Bengals were going to pull it out, and I thought the Jaguars were going to pull it out, but the Bengals were able to get it done, even though it was a really tight game. Again, I believed in the Chiefs to get that revenge game on the Eagles. The Eagles, again, were able to pull it off. Again, another close game. We picked the Falcons over the Vikings. I feel like a lot of people got that one wrong. We picked the Bills. Again, did a good job there. Seahawks, Steelers. Honestly, this one caught me by complete surprise, especially after that first week. Maybe this is just like the Jets and Steelers both aren't that great of a team. And that's why that first game was such a big shootout. Something to take note of going forward here. We got the Colts over the Broncos right. We got the Texans wrong over the Buccaneers. Again, a 1-point game. I am calling these close ones, and I'm just taking a shot on the wrong team here. But we're going to start figuring those out, and we're going to start nailing them going forward. Let's go on to week 3. We're just going to go down the list, and then we'll do our confidence later. So right now, we're just going to pick winners. Then we're going to come back through, and we're going to show our confidence at a later date at the end of the video. So stick around if you want to know my confidence in each one of these as they compare to each other. So starting off, I think we got a pretty easy one. Bills over the Dolphins. Not a lot to talk about there. Packers have been rolling. I'm a Packer fan. You got to stick with the tried and true. Even when they're not favored, I'm still probably picking them. That's just how I am as a fan. Colts, Titans. Colts feel like the Saints of last year, I think that was, where the Saints started off super hot, but they weren't actually a good team. They just had a lot of confidence early on. But I don't think the Titans are the type of team to put it together in week 3 quite yet. I do like Cam Ward, and I do think that this team is going to upset some teams down the road. But for right now, we're going to stick with the Colts. I feel pretty confident in that. This one's interesting. We got the Bengals and the Vikings. Bengals are 2-0. Vikings are 1-1. I haven't seen enough from JJ McCarthy. I know they're going into this with their backup quarterback. I just think their defense, the Bengals defense, have been playing good enough. And I think that offense can do enough in a very low scoring game to get the win here. Bengals over the Vikings. Again, remember, I'm a Packers fan, so that might be coming into it a little bit of bias here. I do eventually think that JJ's going to pull it off and put it together, but I just don't think we're at that point yet. And I'm just hoping that he doesn't lose the locker room before he gets to that point. That's the only other issue I would be worried about there. Patriots, Steelers. I'm going to go with the Patriots here. I just think they have a better overall team. The Steelers have looked very up and down, and last week they looked very down. The Patriots have looked not amazing, but they've looked more consistent. And I think that Drake May is the real deal. I think they have enough weapons. I can see them winning that game. Eagles, Rams. This is going to be a much better game than people are thinking. 12% pick rate is crazy low. I think that the Rams have a real good shot of winning this game. They were in the playoffs last year. They look better. Devontae Adams is a freaking dog. But I gotta stick with the Eagles. They've been controlling these games from start to finish. Buccaneers, Jets. I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers. I just feel like unless we find out that Baker Mayfield is hurt or something, I just don't see the Jets having enough to compete with the offense that is Baker Mayfield. And I think they're playing pretty good right now. Raiders, Commanders. Again, Raiders looked awful against the Chargers. And I think the Commanders are a little bit better than the Chargers. And we saw what the Lions did after playing the Packers. So I could kind of see that same kind of bounce back here for the Commanders. I think the Raiders are getting demolished. Falcon, Panthers. I like the Falcons, but I do think that the Panthers, being it's a divisional game, seeing as they have a little bit more hunger, they need to get a win. They haven't gotten their first win. I don't think they're going to go all year without getting a win. I think that the Panthers put it together here and they get the upset over the Falcons. 6% pick is crazy to me. Maybe people are seeing something different. I just think that they've played a lot better in the second half of games. If we get it come out to a fast start, I think that we're going to see a much better game here. Texans. The Jaguars defense has looked really good and really competent. And the Texans, although they have a really good defense, their offensive line is like complete Swiss cheese. So I'm going to go with the Jaguars here. And I think the Texans going 0-3 is going to shock a lot of people. But I don't think that's ultimately where the Texans are going to end up. I think they'll come back from it. I like the Jaguars team. I think that they're putting things together. And I think we're going to see that evolution continue to go in the right direction for Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars. And they haven't been playing great on offense either, even though they've won one and lost one and they should have beat the Bengals. They haven't put a full game on offense together. I could see the Jaguars, doing enough early to get a lead and then maintaining it. Their running game looks pretty good. I'm going to go with the Jaguars. Broncos, Chargers. Another iffy game. I'm going to go with the Chargers right now. They look strong. The Broncos are going to be competitive in this game, but I just think that Chargers have a ton of momentum. Herbert's looking great. Your defense does take a hit with Khalil Mack going down, but I think that the Broncos offense has just been struggling too much. And it's going to be too much to overcome for the Broncos. So I'm going to go with the Chargers here. Saints, Seahawks. I think the Saints are getting their first win this week. The Seahawks have looked up and down, and they're a team that could definitely drop a game to a team like the Saints. The Saints have played really good. Better than expectations, I should say. Maybe not really good, but they played better than expectations. And I can just see the Saints pulling off the quote unquote upset against the Seahawks here to get their first win of the year. And we will see. Going forward, Cowboys over the Bears. Although the Bears could be a sneaky pick here, if they, are hella motivated from the loss that they had to the Lions. But I think the Cowboys are also equally as motivated. They got a big win, a shootout against the Giants. Although I'm not saying Giants are world beaters, but there is like a energy around this team that feels like they're motivated since the Micah Parsons trade. Like, hey, we don't need this. We don't need that superstar to win games. We got everything we need to do it. And they played the Eagles tough. And the Giants were playing out of their mind, and they were able to still get a win over the Giants. So I'm going to go with the Cowboys here to get this win. People always overreact both ways crazily. Next, we got the Cardinals and 49ers. Both teams are 2-0. The 49ers are just so beat up, and they have not looked, neither of these teams have looked good. I was going to say the 49ers haven't looked great. They've barely pulled out the wins, but the Cardinals have basically reflected that same thing. They both have, didn't the 49ers play the Saints and the Seahawks, and the Cardinals have played the Saints and I forget who else they played. Who else did they beat? Maybe like the Raiders or something. I don't specifically remember who else they played. But going based off injury alone here, I feel like that's the real difference. You have a more healthy Cardinals team versus a more banged up 49ers team. Although Mac Jones is very competent, I'm going to go with the Cardinals here. Again, this is probably more of like a selfish pick because I just believe, I've had this dumb belief in the Cardinals. Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr. I just believe in those players probably more than they actually deserve, if that makes sense. Next, we got the Chiefs and the Giants. I have picked the Chiefs two times in a row, and they have lost both games. I almost don't want to pick them out of principle here, but I think the Chiefs are definitely a top tier team. I think they just played a tough Chargers team, and they lost to the Eagles, which is a wagon. Like, this is the Chiefs get right game. They're gonna come in here and they're gonna punish the Giants for even being considered equals at 0-2. We saw both these teams play really good since the start of the season. The fact that they're both 1-0 is crazy. The Bills had a crazy comeback win against the Ravens. The Packers did, I think, were better than people were expecting them to be against the Lions. And then we saw in week 2 what they did to the Bears. I think that was kind of like a get right game. Like, hey, we can still play. We're not bad. I do think that the defense overall has taken a step back compared to last year. The offense seems to have gotten it together. But I think the Ravens have a good enough defense to get it done. We're going Ravens. And I honestly think a little bit of this is everybody's sick of hearing the NFC is the toughest division. So they're going to circle teams like the Lions. They're going to circle teams like the Vikings and the Packers, and they're going to try and knock them off of their pedestal. I just think that out of all the teams in the NFC, the Packers have the easiest game. I do think the Packers are going to lose in a trap game somewhere. Maybe it's to the Cowboys in a few weeks. Here's the hard part. The Lions put up 52 points. The Ravens have put up 40-some points. So both these have super powerful offenses. This could come down to a shootout at the end of the game. I think this is one of those games and scores where it's like 34-29. Where the defenses are dominating for most of the game, and it's a relatively low-scoring game. But when that fourth quarter hits, you start seeing points go up in bunches because these offenses can just take it to another level. And no matter how far down they are, I think either one of them can come back and make it a game at the end of the game. So whatever 34-29 is, that's going to be, what is that, 63 points. I think if my math is correct there. So we got a 63-point score for the Lions-Ravens game for our tiebreaker. And yeah, that's what I like. I like how that kind of came together. It seems like this week was a little bit easier to pick. There wasn't any super marquee matchups like last week. So right off the bat, before I continue on with this, let's go to a quick break. Let's go to a quick ad, and then we'll come back. Yep, it's me again. I'm here to interrupt whatever I was saying, but this time it's for a really good reason. I have a brand new song called Know You, and it's featuring Nonrilla. If you would please go to my other channel and check that out, that would be greatly appreciated. It has a really powerful message. I actually made a video on this channel about it, and you can go watch that video where I break down some of my lyrics, talk about the impact it had on my life, and kind of the whole creation process that was that song. Again, the song is Know You by DRGN featuring Nonrilla. So if you could go check that out for me, that would be greatly appreciated. All right, back to you, Dragon. Alrighty, welcome back. We are now in the confidence part of our picks. So I am going to kind of speed this up like I did last week. People seem to like that part where I go through it and then we'll run it through at the very end. I'll kind of just go through what I was thinking quickly. Alrighty, I think I got it kind of close. I'm gonna try and flesh it out real quick with you guys. So we got Bills over the Dolphins. Dolphins have looked horrendous. I do think that they have the potential to be a lot better team than they are, but even when they are at their best, I think they still lose to the Bills. So we're going with a very confident Bills win. Next, we got the Packers over the Browns. The Packers have looked amazing. The Browns have looked anything but amazing. Well, not anything but amazing. They've looked, just like an average NFL team. I just think it's a bad matchup. I'm actually going to go with the Commanders next. Looking at the matchups here. Commanders over the Raiders. That looks pretty good. We're going to go with the Chiefs next. Like I said, I'm going to flesh this out just a little bit. Looking at this, so we feel more confident in the Chiefs than the Giants. I'm actually gonna go Broncos up 1-2, and I kind of want to put Buccaneers above the Chargers. So we're the Chargers. All right, so I like that. All right, so we got Bills, Packers, Commanders, Chiefs, Buccaneers, Chargers, Colts, Cowboys, Saints. We'll do Jacksonville, actually. I'm going to go Jacksonville at 9. I kind of feel better than the Eagles than my Saints pick. Where's Saints? New Orleans. Let's actually move the Saints pick down a little bit. Got Panthers, Bengals. Yeah, I don't necessarily hate that. I'm really struggling with the Saints, Panthers, Bengals picks. Like, do I really believe that? Do I really believe these 3 games? Really, this game, I could go back and forth. So I think I'm the least confident in this pick, just based on how I feel about it. That one's got to go down there, so I can take a second to figure it out. Saints, Seahawks, we'll move that one down too. All right, so we got Panthers, probably below the Ravens, I believe. And the Panthers less than the Ravens. Okay. All right. So starting from the Charger game, we got the Colts over the Titans, the Jaguars over the Texans, the Cowboys over the Bears, the Eagles over the Rams, the Cardinals over the 49ers, the Ravens over the Lions, and the Patriots over the Steelers, Panthers over the Falcons, Bengals over the Vikings, and Saints over the Seahawks. Those are my confident picks. Let's lock it in. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video. And I've been really enjoying these picks, really do enjoy making these videos with you guys. So if you guys enjoy me making these videos, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, do all those great things that people tell you to do in every YouTube video. And hopefully next week we can move into the top 2 and not move down below 3rd position. But until the next one, love you guys so much. Peace.